in today's video, we will be looking at an RTX 4060 gaming PC parts list build that you can build for only £600 here in the UK. First of all, the CPU was going to be the Ryzen 5 4500, and that is currently £68 on CCL online website. Now, you can actually get this for about £60 on Amazon, but at the moment it is actually sold out, so I wouldn't actually go with that. Obviously, if you can find it for £60 on Amazon, then obviously do that, and it's in stock, go with that. But I do think the Ryzen 5 4500 is a 6-core 12-thread processor, and it's going to be perfect for our little budget PC that we're putting together. And it does come with the race stock cooler, the stealth cooler, so that's also a nice handy addition to have, so you don't have to buy another cooler if you don't want to. I would advise you do, because a good tower cooler now only costs about £15 or so it's worth doing, but if you don't have the budget, don't do it. The motherboard I've selected is the Asus Tech Prime B450M-K. So yeah, that's £61 on Amazon currently. Now, you could go A520, you could even go A320 if you wanted to, but basically just look around and see what's the best deal. And also I should say as well, this is all new parts as well. This is all going to be new parts, brand new parts from retail sites as well. So I'm not actually going to use any used parts in this build at all, but you can go the used parts build, or you can go the used parts as well if you want to kind of lower that price down to maybe 550, even 500 even, if you really look around for deals. So this is a decent motherboard from Asus, and it is B450, but again, the Ryzen 5 4500 doesn't really use the PCI Express × 4, so you don't really need that support. So getting a B550 motherboard is actually a bit of a waste of money in this sense. Unless you do plan to obviously upgrade the processor at a later date, then it would be worth obviously going B550, but I wouldn't bother otherwise, it's not worth it. So next is our RAM, which is the Kingston Fury B 16GB of 3200MHz, a 2x 8GB kit. Now this kit is only £40 on Amazon currently, and I do think that's a really good offer personally. I'd say anywhere £40 or just below, maybe even up to £35, you might be able to find a decent 16GB kit of DDR4 RAM. That's perfectly fine for what we're going to need. 3200MHz is enough. If you can get a 3600MHz kit for about £40, go with it, but if you can't, 3200MHz is going to do more than fine for any gaming PC nowadays, so that's fine. Next we have our crucial P3 1TB NVMe drive, and that is currently £35 on Amazon. Now, NVMe drives and SSDs are just going down all the time, so you know, personally just get whatever is the best deal for you. I would only go to 1TB though, I wouldn't go any lower personally. I think now, especially with only being £35 for 1TB NVMe drive, there's no point going to 512, you're not going to fit enough games on there, and it's just not going to be worth it. Going 1TB is kind of the standard now for any gaming PC in my opinion. You could go up to 2TB if again you have a bit more budget and you want to push that maybe up to 750 or 700, then do that, but otherwise I'll just stay 1TB is fine. Now obviously this is our 4060, I've gone with the MSI Ventus RTX 4060, which is currently £290 on Amazon.co.uk, and I think this is a decent deal. Obviously I'm a bit of an MSI fanboy, so I would say go with the MSI card, because I've just never had a problem buying MSI products before, and they've always been very reliable, and I'd personally just go with the Ventus edition, so don't pay any more than about £290, I would say. Maybe if you can get it for £280 obviously, or maybe prices might come down a little bit, but I'd say about £290, maybe £300 at very most to pay for an RTX 4060 personally. Don't go buying the OC versions and all that sort of stuff, you're just wasting your money. So next is our PSU, which is the MSI, again MSI, but the MSI Mag A650BN power supply, which is currently £50 on CCL online. So that's a good price really for a 650 watt power supply. You could even go down to 550 watt, you could probably just about get away with it with the RTX 4060, but I would on the safe side just go with a 650 watt power supply, and potentially you might have a little bit more breathing room with a 650 watt as well, just to, if you did potentially, you know, upgrade your CPU or even your graphics card at a later point, you've got a bit more wiggle room there. And then lastly our case, which is the MSI Mag Forge M100R, which is an M80X case because we are only using an M80X board. Also, I forgot to mention the M80X board which you've selected. The reason why I did select it is because it has BIOS flashback on it, a little BIOS flashback button on the front. So the Ryzen 5 4500, you will need to do a BIOS flash and update your BIOS basically on that board. So you can do that without actually inserting the CPU. So that's also why I've chosen that board as well. And when you are choosing your motherboard, make sure you do have the BIOS flashback ability on that board, because otherwise you're going to have to use an older processor. But yeah, the MSI Mag4 M100R case is a really nice case with 4 ARGB fans. Obviously very compact, but it can still fit in about 300 millimeters graphics card, so you will have plenty of room for your RTX 4060, and it's going to be perfect for what you need. You're not really going to need any additional storage, because I would say just go with the NVMe drive now, so you don't need, there's no need to have big massive cases for multiple hard drives. We've kind of got past those days now. So yeah, I mean, I do think that that total comes in at exactly 599, and I do think actually that is really quite a good build personally. I mean, I think for £600 to get an RTX 4060 complete PC, I think you're doing all right there. And I'd say pretty much any kind of pre-built PC or anything like that, it's probably going to cost you at least what, 750, 800 to actually get an RTX 4060 in it, maybe even more. So I do think for £600 you've got a nice little budget PC there, and it's going to be capable for at least the next 2-3 years at sort of 1080p high gaming, maybe even potentially 1440p low if you really wanted to push it to that, but certainly 1080p gaming is going to be perfect for at least 2-3 years. I know some people might say that 8GB VRAM issues, but I don't really see. Most of the time that's just unoptimized games, but anyway, that's just my opinion. Most of the time I don't really feel in the next 2-3 years we're going to push too much over the 8 gigabytes, but you never know, there might be more games that push over the 8 gigabyte VRAM. And I know a lot of people would say go to the 12 gigabyte RX 6700 XT if you can, and I do think if you've got £350 to spend on a graphics card, then yes, go up to that. Personally, it is a better card. It does perform better. It doesn't have all the nice features of the 4060, obviously, like your frame generation and your DLSS free support, but it is a very good graphics card. It does have FSR support as well to help out on some of those more tricky titles to run, and you do get 12 gigabytes of VRAM as well. So if you are more conscious of that, and if you're maybe doing more like video editing and stuff like that, maybe the 12 gigabyte might also be a little bonus to have rather than the 8 gigabyte of VRAM. But overall, I still think the 4060 is a decent graphics card. I mean, it's not quite the jump in performance that we've kind of expecting over the 3060, but on Amazon currently, the 3060, at least new anyway, and only costs about £20 less than the RTX 4060. So I would certainly spend that extra £20 going up to the 4060 now, personally. You do get a bump in performance, and you do get all the nice new features that Nvidia have included into their RTX 40 series card. So yeah, overall, if you think you can beat my little sort of build list that I've got there, then obviously let me know. Like I say, this is just a sort of filler video for now, just to kind of give me a few more videos on this channel, just for this sort of time where unfortunately I don't really have a lot of resources to kind of unfortunately to spend money to actually buy more products to actually show you on this channel. But I do apologise, and like I say, please leave a like or obviously comment on this video what you think to my builds, and we will get back to more normal service eventually, guys. You're just going to have to wait it out, unfortunately, but we'll get there. Things are going to get better. I believe things are going to get better. I want to try and be as optimistic as I can, and I hope you are as well. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.